Another edition on my channel where I bring you detailed information about traveling during the COVID-19 pandemic. We all know that the COVID-19 has been one of the most challenging times in every sector and especially in the aviation sector. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we had a lockdown from March 2020 up to August 2020. As a result of the lockdown, countries shut down their borders to international travels so as to reduce the spread of the virus. And as a result of the border closures, airlines could not keep flying. Airlines had to ground a lot of aircrafts, stop flight operations, and equally had to cancel the contracts of a lot of staffs. Indeed, there have not been such a challenging time in the aviation sector as compared to the times in which we are now, the time during the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, in this edition, we shall be talking mainly on traveling during the COVID-19 pandemic period. With the resumption of flights after the COVID-19 lockdown, a lot of rules have been kept in place by airlines and countries in which passengers must meet up to before they can be allowed to enter certain countries. The reasons why all these rules have been kept in place is to further reduce the spread of the COVID-19 virus. Meanwhile, before we proceed, you're still new to my channel, please kindly subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss any of my amazing uploads. After you must have booked your trip, after you must have gotten your visa, if a visa is required for the destination which you are traveling to, the next thing to do is to check the COVID-19 requirements. There are always various ways in which you can have this information. You can check on the airline's website to be updated with the COVID-19 requirements, or you can equally check on the website of the country which you're traveling to so you'll be aware of what is happening. In our today's video, we shall be using practical examples of some African countries. For COVID-19 requirements, firstly, we have countries that before you travel to, you must be vaccinated, and equally we have countries that all they require is just a COVID-19 PCR test, and also we have countries that upon arrival you will need to redo the COVID-19 test, which implies quarantine upon arrival. This information is very important to get it days before your trip so you could plan accordingly. Personally, I've witnessed a lot of stranded passengers at the airport miss their flights because either they were not aware that they were to do a PCR COVID-19 test, or they were not aware that they were to have a vaccination card. So knowing what to do days before your flight will help you to plan accordingly. Meanwhile, if you don't plan to travel so soon, or you have someone traveling so soon, this information might be very important for the person. Kindly share this video so that someone will be updated with what is happening. We should know that for all international flights, a negative PCR COVID-19 test is mandatory. This goes for both vaccinated and unvaccinated travelers. In some few countries, passengers having a vaccination card are exempted from quarantine. Meanwhile, those having just a negative PCR test will be quarantined and they will do another COVID test. One more important information has to do with passenger locator forms. Passenger locator forms or PLF are mandatory to all passengers traveling to certain destinations. This has to do with passengers that will need to redo the COVID test upon arrival. The PLF is a pre-registration that passengers are to fill online and have a confirmation code before their arrival at their destination. In most countries, passengers who are vaccinated are exempted from these. In the description portion of this video, we shall put some countries and their PLF forms. In case you are traveling to any of those countries, kindly click the link and fill out the form. Meanwhile, are you traveling to any destination not mentioned? Kindly keep us a comment in the comment section and we shall reply you with the requirements. Also, to destination where COVID test is done upon arrival, payments are to be done by the passenger. This varies with various destinations. Kindly check in the comment section to have more details. In Africa so far, we have 5 countries in which a COVID-19 vaccination card is mandatory. We have Ghana, we have Nairobi, we have Malabo, we have Mauritius, and we have Tunisia. For travelers traveling to this country, a COVID-19 vaccination card is mandatory, else you will be denied boarding. And for the rest of the African countries, what is required from passengers is a negative PCR test upon arrival. In South Africa, in Cameroon, in Rwanda, in Egypt, in Nigeria, in Benin, in Tanzania, passengers are required to hold a 72 hours negative PCR COVID test. Meanwhile, in Congo-Kinshasa, passengers are required to hold a 92 hours negative PCR test. For all other destinations, drop us a comment and we shall tell you the COVID-19 requirements. Having your COVID-19 vaccination card and having your PCR negative COVID test, we should not forget that face masks are mandatory on all international flights and both domestic flights. This has been a few we put together for you with regards to traveling during the COVID-19 pandemic and what is required from passengers. Kindly like this video and share this video with someone you know who is traveling.